Welcome to Clarion-Limestone Gymnasium. Dave Cadis along with our special guest tonight, Brad Frazier, and you're watching the Redbank Chevrolet Zubrook sports show from Clarion-Limestone. And tonight we got a lot of activity going on here. We got a great volleyball match coming up. We're going to be talking about that a little bit. But with my friend Brad Frazier, we go back a long time, Brad.
Yeah, we go. We were just talking about going back into the mid-'80s, Dave.
Oh, my gosh. We were like 21, 22 years old playing wiffle ball in the back of the McGuigan's backyard. And little did we know that we had an unbelievable pitcher throwing wiffle balls. We couldn't understand why the wiffle ball would break 25 feet and nobody could ever hit Brad Frazier, basically. So
yeah, it's amazing. That was 40 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, time flies like crazy.
It
really does. And, so we got a lot of interesting things coming up tonight for you on the Redbank Chevrolet and Zubrook Sports Show tonight. But Brad, a lot of things going on. This is the busy time of year. One of the biggest things I know from the university standpoint is, man, we got football going on, we got soccer going on, we got cross country going on, and meanwhile wrestling's getting ready to go, men's and women's basketball. Is it the same dynamic here, basically at the high school level?
It really is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on all the time. It's 4 or 5 days a week, as you know, and since we've co-opted with Clarion, it adds more kids into the mix, which is great because it's all about the kids anyway, and it's just been it's always busy.
We're going to talk a little bit later about the co-ops and how those things are going now, and it's 2024, and that's the future, I think. One of the things, Brad, that I noticed doing high school football games on Friday night, just the amount of kids and student athletes that are basically not out there to play football games, starting to get kind of iffy, kind of scary. I'm sure you see that too.
It really is. I mean, I could go back 5-6 years ago when Clarion and Clarion-Limestone came together in their co-op. We basically had 8 kids at that point, and that obviously doesn't cut it. So it was a great time to get that merger together, and it's just been successful ever since.
Yeah, I think some of the things you've grown in a little bit to this position. You came. I mean, one of the things everybody used to listen for Brad Frazier. What's Brad doing? He's drafted by the Marlins and everything. Let me take you back there and see how it's transitioned into your role here now as athletic director and everything. So, coming out of college and everything, you have a degree in what's your degree in?
Degree in elementary education.
Elementary education, and you taught, I think. Tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are now.
Well, I played 3 years of minor league baseball and graduated from Clarion University in 1996, and I got my first teaching job here, my only teaching job, and I've been here 28 years, and I now have 5 years in as the athletic director. So that's where I'm at today, and it's been a great experience. I mean, CL has been really good to me.
Well, heading through your career path to get here, you were drafted by the Florida Marlins, and that's a big accomplishment itself. Now, that was the first year, I understand, that the Florida Marlins were in existence and they had this major league draft. There's a story that goes along with how you were drafted, okay? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? I heard it from Rich Herman, the old head baseball coach and sport information director, but I really wanted to get the breakdown of how that happened that day that you found out you were drafted by the Marlins.
Well, actually, Coach Herman was in the process of building his house, and I was actually helping him pick rocks out of his backyard. And I got the phone call, and my wife at the time, called and said that the Florida Marlins were on the phone and wanted to select me and things like that. So, I owe Coach Herman and Coach Barry McAuliffe a lot. They were very instrumental in getting me to where I was at that point in my career, and I can't thank them enough.
Well, I understand that they made a couple phone calls for you, and they had one of the Marlins scouts, Bill Shear, that came up from the Marlins, and I guess they talked to him yesterday. They said, hey, this Frazier kid, he's got some stuff. He's got some things and everything, but, if you can get him down to a certain weight, those guys said, then I will draft him. And then Rich and Barry talked a little bit about you went on this major to get in shape kick and everything.
I really did. I knew that was my only shot at playing at the next level. And I would pitch a lot for 7 innings, and then I would go up to the university and run laps at the top of the gymnasium, and just to do anything I could to get in better shape, and it all came together. The Marlins were interested in me as soon as we left Florida. They saw me pitch in Florida, and just kept track. And I knew there were some other teams interested, but really the weight was the whole thing. Just get the weight down. I was around 220 at the time. And I think whenever I got drafted, I was about 185.
Yeah, those guys said you were about 185, and that's an incredible journey to get to the point where you could get drafted. And I give that guy a lot of credit. This Bill Scheer from the Marlins, he stuck on. He kept his word basically.
Yeah, he put it out there, and this is what you have to do, and it was on me on how bad I wanted it.
Yeah, and talking to Rich and Barry, I mean, you were just a fearless pitcher. Those guys said. In all the years of baseball that they've gone through and everything, they said there's nobody on that we have had. Pitch was 2, and it was the bottom of the 6th inning or something like that you would throw that curveball. And those guys said, those players, those guys up in the batter's box were waiting for that fastball, and it never came, and you used to buckle people there, and it was one of the greatest experiences they had.
Yeah, the curveball was my best pitch, and like you said, Dave, I wanted to throw it in any count, and a lot of times I would pitch backwards. I'd throw it, in 2-1 counts and maybe even 3-1 counts because I had that much confidence in it. And I think it kept the hitters off balance, and it was my go-to pitch.
So you grew into that. Okay, you get your family all attended the games. I know your brother Bowie and your parents and everything used to attend. I don't think they missed a game, according to Barry and Rich.
They never missed a game, including my grandma. They were by my side the whole way through.
Yeah, and your grandma bought you a glove. I guess it was the wrong hand as far as your glove is concerned.
Yeah, back whenever I was 2.
So I'm sure she's looking down on you, very, very proud the whole way through. Now, we got into a conversation about, I love movies. Today in my class, I showed Moneyball in our class because we were talking about data and everything else, and the kids were sitting there with their jaws dropping, okay? Which, you're talking about data analytics and all of this kind of stuff. So you get drafted by the Marlins. I understand you got a $1,000 signing bonus.
Yes, I did.
Which was really cool, and then you were shipped up to Erie.
Yep.
Right? And one of the things, you played for the Erie Sailors up there and everything, is one of the things that's interesting is I think of the old movies like Bull Durham, and we were just talking before the show started about the trips that you made on the buses and everything else. And one of the really funny stories I think our viewers would be interested in, Rich was telling me about this story that you called Coach Herman and said, hey, listen, you got to get up to Erie tonight. This game, something big's going to happen. I need you to be here to see this and everything. Tell our viewers that story, because I think they'll get a real big kick out of this, and I think it's something I want to lead into.
At the time, we were playing the Jamestown Expos, and basically what you see on TV a lot today, one of their players hit a home run, and it was a long home run, and he stood and watched it, and our coaches, one of our pitching coach was bounty hunter, ex-bounty hunter.
Oh, jeez.
So he basically put the word out that that we got to take somebody out, and so it was old school baseball, and so we were instructed that somebody has to get hit, make sure that you didn't hit them in the head or anything like that. So sure enough, somebody got hit, and of course I'm from Clarion. We're in the PSAC. We never fought anybody or anything like that. So I was a relief pitcher, and here I am trying to run out onto the field after it all happened. And I'm just thinking, I just don't want to get hit. But it was definitely something to see, and that was my first real experience of like, wow, this is reality.
This is like Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Well, those guys said even that you told them, you said, hey, listen, everybody has got to run out on the field after this guy gets hit.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got to be between the baselines. If not, you're all going to either buy a case of beer or you're going to get fined $50 to $100,
yeah,
right?
You were going to get fined if you didn't run out in the field and at least help your teammates. I mean, that's just the way it was. Yeah,
that's a good story, Brad. I'll tell you that. I think some of those things, it's a lot different these days now and everything, but I remember some of the big melees that are out there and everything. I'm sure you have 20 other stories. So if you ever see me and Brad at the Legion here in Clarion sometime, I'm sure Brad would love to tell you a couple more stories along the line. So
absolutely.
We're getting ready, folks. We're getting ready for a big Keystone versus Clarion-Limestone volleyball match tonight here in Clarion-Limestone's gymnasium. So why don't we take a break? We're tonight at Clarion-Limestone Gymnasium, and tonight's sports show brought to you by Redbank Chevrolet and also Dubrook. We'll be back with more right after this.
Need reliable plumbing or heating services? Call Luton's Plumbing and Heating. Fast, friendly, and available 24/7. Call them at 814-226-8695. At Clarion County Community Bank, you're more than just a number. With personalized service and modern conveniences, they make banking easy. Clarion County Community Bank, where community comes first.
Dubrook is your trusted ready-mix concrete supplier. From commercial to residential, Dubrook has you covered. Call 1-844-DUBROOK or visit dubrooking.com. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities. Dubrook, your solid choice in all things concrete.
Eyes are the window to your soul, so take care of them. The Laurel Eye Clinic provides complete care from annual exams, glasses and contacts to cataract and retinal surgery, LASIK and more. As a trusted leader in family eye care for 50 years, you can trust them with yours. Call or visit us online today.
Back on the Redbank Sports Show, Redbank Chevrolet Sports Show, along with Dubrook. We want to thank our sponsors an awful lot. And Brad, this next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about football. We have a big game tomorrow night. We're going down with Explore Clarion. We're going to end up doing the Redbank Carn City game tomorrow night. We'll see if they can bounce back, basically, Carn City, after the drubbing they took from Clarion. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that now, as far as, you've seen Clarion play, Central Clarion play all 5 games right now. And just some initial thoughts as we get into this and everything. What stands out to you about this Clarion team? Well, Central Clarion.
They're just hitting on all cylinders. Offensively, they're very tough to defend because with Jace back at their quarterback, he can run, he can throw, and they have such a complement of good wide receivers and running backs that they're just so tough to defend. And defensively, they did real well against Carn City that last game, which we knew was going to be a big game for them. But they're just firing on all cylinders.
Well, one of the things let's talk a little bit about Jace Ferguson. Jace, if the school districts were still set up as they were supposed to be set up originally back in the days of Clyde Connie and Larry Weiser and everything else, Jace Ferguson would be a Clarion-Limestone kid, correct?
Absolutely.
So they were able to pick him up over Clarion. There's a lot of other players on that football team are Clarion-Limestone kids too. You get a chance to see them here every day at school and everything else. Let's talk a little bit about them.
Yeah, well, we have like Cohen Kemmer.
Cohen, wide receiver. I've seen him. He's made some big plays so far this year for Central Clarion, and got a chance. I think I got a chance to talk to him one time. Very nice young man, and progressing away through his high school career.
Yep, Sawicki. There's also
Jesse Sawicki. Jesse
Sawicki
is that game he played against Carn City last week. He was honorable mention. Of course, we had to give the Hager Paving player of the game, and we had to give it to Jay Ferguson with all his touchdowns. But I brought up Jesse Sawicki, and Bob Dunkel, the governor, stepped in and says, "That's who I was going to say." But boy, he was all over the field last week against Carn City. Great speed, just all-around player. I think he's going to be really a big person heading down the stretch here. I think he's good. He's a big play type of guy.
He is, and he even does a lot of the little things that just don't get noticed.
Yeah.
And he's always seems to be in the right spot at the right time, and he's a lineman that helps him out. It's just there's just such a mix, and then it's just been really good for them.
One of the things that Mike and I and Bob Dunkel, we talk about an awful lot is just the size of that defensive and offensive line for Clarion. Hayden Hindman, just a force, basically, on that defensive line and offensive line, along with Jimmy Kerr. What are your thoughts on those two guys?
Oh, they're like bulldozers up front.
That's a good way to put it. That's a great way to put it.
They just clear the path for the running back, and they take care of Jace, when he drops back to pass. And, when you have two guys up there that are as good as really anybody probably in the state, they're just, they're just nice to have as two anchors of your line.
Well, you got a big Hindman, name down there, not only with Redbank Chevrolet, but Carter Hindman is the backup quarterback. He's got an opportunity to play a couple times because we've got the mercy rule, and Davey Eagle has sort of pulled off the dogs a little bit, and when the other team puts their JVs in, Davey does that, and he's very respectful for the score. But Carter Hindman, the few times that I've seen him, look like he's progressing and he's learning and he's improving every week when he gets the opportunity to get in there.
Well, just like you said, Dave, I mean, what better opportunity and what better person to learn from than Jace Ferguson?
Absolutely.
So, that only is going to make him better when he gets more repetitions and gets his chance.
There are so many people that I see in town or something like that, and you know how people are. They look towards next year already, and it's like, well, when Jace leaves, who's going to be the quarterback? And I said, well, I don't know who will be the quarterback, but I know Carter Hindman has been playing. He's been coming in as the backup quarterback and playing a little bit, and things seem to be going pretty well. Overall, the district, what are your thoughts as an athletic director now, okay? The district, what are your thoughts let's just talk about the football aspect of it. The district, you feel pretty strong. You go to a lot of these meetings. What are your thoughts a little bit about the overall district with football and how that seems to be progressing a little bit?
Well, I mean, you always have Karn City, Brookville, and those type of teams that are always in the mix. You have to play every week, and we just can't, as Central Clarion would be, you just can't let your guard down.
Yeah.
It's something that I know Davey would echo the same thing. Just go out and we got to play our game.
Well, I just look around the conference and see, we've got an opportunity, I think, to do 3 Central Clarion games, but I keep an eye on a bunch of other games that are going on in the northern tier and the southern tier. It looks like Port Allegheny's really got something going. Really a shocker a couple weeks ago how they strapped it on Redbank. I think they put up 66 points against Redbank, so I think they have a pretty strong football team. And I think Todd Smith over at Keystone is doing a good job trying to build a program. He's got a lot of younger people, a lot of younger players on the team, and I think he's trying to build some tradition, and he did that a long time over here at CL.
Absolutely. Todd's been one of the best for years. I mean, he has a lot of experience, and he's a great offensive mind. I'm sure he's doing great things over there at Keystone.
And down at Union AC Valley, that's a consolidation too. Coach has done a good job, I think, with the Union AC Valley consolidation. We interviewed him earlier in the season in camp, and he had really good thoughts going towards the future, and his youth programs are really built up a good bit too. And I think that's one of the keys around here, try to get a youth program going so some of these younger kids can get it going basically after Little League Baseball and stuff like that. You've been around a long time. Has there ever been a push to try to get something like that going in this local area?
Well, we have a youth program right now, and we play Slippery Rock and we play Union AC Valley.
Is that centered here in Clarion?
Not necessarily, I would say it's centered in Clarion, but it's part of their youth football league.
Okay.
And I actually announce a lot of their games, so I'm familiar with a lot of teams that come in. Armstrong County comes in, so you have to have a feeder program.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts. And we're getting a lot of good turnouts as far as the numbers-wise for kids, so it's going to help our football program tremendously.
And that's good. I mean, I think that's important. I grew up with back in the day, it was I don't know if it's the right terminology or anything, but let's just say it was a youth program, okay? And we had that, and it was a great program down in Penn Township, and we played teams like Slickville and Latrobe and Derry, and it was really, really good program that the parents put together, and it was going on for 25 years even before I got there and everything. So I think those are some of the big things that you see, and have to help these District 9 teams and try to push them forward to be competitive in the future. So why don't we take another time out? You're listening to the Redbank Chevrolet Sports Show on Explore Clarion, also sponsored by Dubrock. We'll be back with more right after this.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kale's Kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kale's, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
The Cooper Discoverer Road Plus Trail AT, our most trusted truck tire, is now better than ever and available for your truck or SUV. They're designed for the reliability and durability to find adventure beyond the pavement and are backed by a Cooper mileage warranty of up to 65,000 miles. Learn more about the reliable Discoverer Road Plus Trail AT at CooperTire.com. Count on Cooper. Or stop by Carly Tires in Clarion. Carly Tires, the area's largest selection of tires.
Hi, my name is Jason and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
This game is brought to you by Tionesta Builders? No, Tionesta Builder Supply. Family-owned and operated home improvement centers located in Tionesta and Shippenville.
Back at Clarion-Limestone Gymnasium, sitting here with Brad Frazier, and I forgot to mention earlier in the broadcast, Brad's a Hall of Famer at Clarion University. I think you got inducted in 2006?
2006.
I think, and I was probably there. I've been to so many, they're all a blur in my head right now. But Brad and I also sit on the Hall of Fame committee together. First year he's been on, and he's got some good insight and some things that we're doing with the Hall of Fame committee. So we'll be having a meeting here in November, and if you got anybody out there you want to induct, try to induct into the Hall of Fame. There's an application on the Clarion University website. Fill it out and get it to the Hall of Fame committee, and we'll take a look at them. Brad, we're in the JV game now with Keystone and your Clarion-Limestone Lions. Let's talk a little bit about the next match coming up here tonight with Keystone. Pretty big match. Everybody say, hey, you got an opportunity to do your first volleyball match, and it's going to be a really big match with Keystone. Tell us about the significance, and I understand that there's almost a three-way tie for first place.
Well, right now it's Clarion and Clarion-Limestone sitting at 8-0 within the league, and Keystone's right behind at 7-1. So this is a big matchup for both teams tonight. And I'm sure Ryan, Coach Troup's going to have our girls ready to play.
One of the things, Coach Troup has been here how long now?
He's been here, I think this is his fourth year.
Fourth year. He's built a good program. Last year you were KSAC champs. You went 18-0, made a big run. I know because there was a girl in my class that was on the volleyball team at that point, and we tried to get our class over for a match here and everything. So, but this is big. He's built a program. Tell us a little bit about how he's built this program and why it's so successful compared to a lot of other teams at this point.
Ryan's really, like you said, Dave, he's elevated our program to that next level, and he's been out there, and he's a hard-working coach because he wants to seek out teams that are going to make us better. So as an AD, as you would know, our non-conference schedule is really competitive. So and that's helped us for the league and things like that. So really Ryan deserves all the credit when you talk about how he's basically been able to promote volleyball, and our girls have really taken to his coaching style, and they're really biting into the program.
Well, when I first got here a long time ago in 1981 as a student, I really didn't know too much about volleyball or anything else. Started, sniffing around Tippett Gymnasium a little bit and maybe go over for a volleyball match or something. But now with the success that the local community has had with Keystone's girls volleyball and Clarion's girls volleyball and Clarion-Limestone's volleyball and the university volleyball. Jen has done a great job at the university level, and it gives me an opportunity to talk about tomorrow night in Tippett Gymnasium. The volleyball team will play Gannon, and that's their big rivalry. So if you're out and about, get an opportunity to come see Jen Hare and her Golden Eagles tomorrow night at, I believe it's 6 o'clock against Gannon, if you want to see some great PSAC volleyball. But this is a volleyball mecca now. I understand there's a lot of student athletes getting recruited by a lot of different schools. And there's a lot of talent in this area. Why do you think that's been that way?
Well, I think it's just getting promoted more. Last year, the KSAC as a league we promoted a new championship for volleyball that we were able to play at the university, and we had a great turnout by the fan base there, and I think. From a coaching standpoint, you just know that if you're going to get to that next level, you really have to promote the sport. As we know, that it turns into almost year-round sports now as well. So it's just, to get to that level, he's really elevated our program.
Yeah, Western Pennsylvania and trying to recruit students now, the same thing. I was getting prepared for this volleyball match tonight, and I was watching a little bit of Pitt and Penn State, who had a match about a week and a half ago. The University of Pittsburgh's ranked #1 in the country now with volleyball. So Western Pennsylvania has really stepped forward as far as a volleyball mecca is concerned, and a lot of the AAU teams. And when I talk to students in my classes with volleyball players, I'll ask them where they're from, what high school did you go to, and they'll talk about that. And they'll also say my club team was ranked, and I don't know too much about the club sports, but my club team was ranked 2nd in the country and stuff, and I'm here playing volleyball for you guys. It's like, holy smokes, this is a big thing in this area as far as volleyball is concerned.
And you just mentioned it. I failed to mention that Ryan has a club team that our girls are involved with it as well in the summertime, so they gain that valuable experience to be able to carry into the fall season.
Do you think that's taken away from the high school setup or the mentality of playing your high school schedule when you have so many club sports out there? Has it made a dent at all as a high school AD?
I think in some ways it has, but I think the kids are just getting used to it. Just by playing a lot, and because every coach has that. I think just sort of being a former coach, that this is my sport, and I want the kids to participate in my sport. But now you really have to share the kids, especially when you're at a small school.
Right, and that's one of the things pretty early if you're going to be a volleyball player, I think, and then you want to improve, and you just want to keep on pushing and going forward with the opportunity. Maybe you end up with a scholarship in a Division III school or a Division II school somewhere along the line, and sometimes you'll find a diamond in the rough around this area that may end up at a Division I school one day and everything else like that. Now, you guys are not co-opted as far as volleyball is concerned, correct?
No. Our court sports have remained the same.
Okay.
But like for baseball, softball, we're taking on new junior high sports as well in baseball, softball, soccer. And both of our soccer, boys and girls varsity, is co-op.
Who are you co-oping with?
We co-op with Clarion.
With Clarion, okay.
Yeah. And of course, our Wildcat football team is also in with North Clarion as well.
Right.
So, and again, it's all. It seems to be all numbers based, and the need to be able to do that to sustain programs.
Well, you give kids opportunities too.
That's never been, all about.
I teach that in some of my classes about what you need to do, because there's so many kids in my classes that want to go on to be high school coaches and everything else, and it's like, hey, you may end up being co-op with somebody. How are you? You have to arrange transportation, meals, what time they're getting out of school. You have a kid on a football team from North Clarion. You play a game someplace down in Carn City, I mean, those kids are going to get home at 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night. Those got to be difficult things. So, well, you've done an outstanding job here at Clarion-Limestone, not only as a teacher, having that opportunity to teach 6th grade kids. I never saw you do that, but I'm sure you were outstanding with that. But everybody you talk to in the local community, they all know Brad Frazier, and they know Brad Frazier's doing an outstanding job here at Clarion-Limestone, and I wish you nothing but success.
Thanks, Dave. And I also have to give a big shout-out to my assistant, Emily Lubis. She's my assistant athletic director. She does a tremendous job of coordinating travel and scheduling type things and stuff like that. And I really owe it a lot to her as well. So.
Well, we appreciate your accommodations for us here tonight. I'm looking forward to a big volleyball match. I get the opportunity to call that tonight with Mike Kilroy later on this evening. So we want to thank you for being on the show and wish you a ton of luck.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Okay. You've been listening to the Redbank Chevrolet Sports Show, also sponsored by Dubrock. We appreciate you tuning into the show tonight. We'll be back with you next week. For now, this is Dave Catus signing off. Have a great autumn leaf, everyone.